Okay, so I'm going to talk about image macros, which is kind of a big overarching way to describe memes. These images with text on them, which has been going on for a long time. This is a postcard from 1905 where a guy has a cat wearing a dress. What's delaying my dinner? So this is something that looks very familiar to us today, with the lolcats and things like that. So the combination of text and images together can create a more powerful message than just the image or the text by itself. So for example, we've got this cat, but then I add message or text to it, and now what we've done is taken this cat and given it human-like qualities. We've translated it into something bigger than just the image of the cat itself could give. So history of some image macros. There was a discussion board post a 13-year-old boy made because he was nervous about he was going to have to kiss a girl if he got into this play. So there was this innocent conversation about kisses and things like that, and on that boy put this picture of his dog Boba Fett and tried to just make a happy image. And so what happened was that image and that thread kind of got taken over by 4chan, and they turned it into Bad Advice Dog, where they took this innocent, happy picture, and this is actually one of the tamer. This is one of the tamer versions of Bad Advice Dog. They can get pretty ugly. So they took this idea of innocence and juxtaposed it with corrupting kids, and that's kind of where the humor comes from, is seeing these two things that shouldn't go together. So that's one powerful thing that can happen. But what happens with in our culture is that we're very familiar using the kind of tools that people need to use in order to create something like this. Microsoft Paint, Photoshop, and things like that. So when 13-year-old boys who are around computers all the time see this, they can easily reverse engineer. They know exactly how this thing was made, and they can pick up on what's called genre conventions. They see, okay, well, it's text. It's the font impact, which I know I have on my computer. It's white with a black outline. I know how to do that. I know how to cut out the face of something. I know how to make these triangles and set the mood. And then this idea of you set up and then you got a punchline. So you put these two things together, these genre conventions that they can recognize, and then that can translate to become, a lot of different things that kind of use the same thing. So this is Cat Boss. This is Insanity Wolf, Success Kid, that have the same font, all caps, white, black outline, cut out face in the center, triangles come together, the color sets the mood, we've got the setup and the punchline, right? And so these genre conventions come together, and it becomes easy to take these as building blocks and create something new with them. And that's kind of how memes proliferate. They become fecund, the fecundity like Jeff was just talking about, right? And so another way that this proliferated is there started to be websites that now people didn't have to know how to use these tools, like Quick Meme Generator, where you choose these pictures and then they give you text box and you automatically input the text and you can create them very easily. So spin-offs, e-cards, and then the What People Think I Do meme that came from this combination of images and text that follow certain genre conventions, and that's pretty much how memes can be described. One thing I really like about memes, the reason I like to study them, is the idea of visual shorthand. So here we've got Fry from Futurama in an episode making fun of Apple computers. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but so the salesman says, here's this product, and it costs $600, and the battery life is terrible, and it doesn't work that well, but it's our new product. And so he says, shut up and take my money. I don't want to hear your explanation. I just want to know what it is. So what happens is we have this combination of words and images, and they become so, they work together so well, and they become so familiar that just the image itself starts to represent the words or the entire idea, right? So I found this picture online of somebody's concept of an iPhone 6, right? So we see it and we think, ooh, that's, that looks nice. But then as soon as I put this picture up here, now there's this whole visual shorthand conversation going on where there's kind of an accusation. The only reason you like this is because it's new, right? Or because, so it encapsulates an entire idea just by putting that one picture up there. So another way this happened, there was a meme came around this guy Exhibit, who worked for a show on MTV, Pimp My Ride, where they did ridiculous things to cars. A quote that's kind of disputed whether or not he said it or not. Yo dog, heard you like cars, so we put a car in your car so you can drive while you drive. They put a go-kart inside a car. And so what happened is that, it started to be just a kind of funny thing on its own. But then the idea of something similar inside something of the same thing kind of started connecting to this idea. So for example, here's this YouTube video I found, and in it, it's called Biggest Chicken Egg in the World.
Right, YouTube.
So I mostly want to talk about here. So he shows the egg, how big it is, and then he cracks it because he wants to see what's inside.
Truth, to see how many yolks is inside this egg.
He wants to know how many yolks are in it.
You're watching.
So he cracks it,
Oh my God.
and there's an egg inside the egg, right? So now, me as a person who's participating in this meme, I know that Exhibit put a car inside a car, and that's kind of what leads up to that. So if I want to participate in this meme now, what I would do is take a screenshot of this, right? I know how to use that tool. Then I put it in Photoshop, and I get this picture of Exhibit that's cut out, and I put this phrase in here. Yo dog, I heard you like breakfast, so I put an egg in your egg so you can eat while you eat, right? So that's how a person participates in a meme. They see this idea, they connect it to something else, they upload an image. But what I like about this is the idea that all I'd have to do is put Exhibit on this picture, and I'm encapsulating this whole idea of something of the same thing inside an egg. So if I were trying to say this with words, the closest I can come is the way how sometimes there's a thing inside a thing that's the same thing, but it's smaller, right? There's no real elegant or short way to get that message across. But, for example, if I've got this picture of boats on a boat, I can just go like that. And now, I've encapsulated this whole idea that I don't really have easy words to express. I have to say a convoluted sentence. Where with this, it's instantaneous. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So the cool thing about that is, if we think about what words are kind of the same thing. They're just images, they're pictures of something, and it represents ideas. And so memes only have meaning within small communities, right? You didn't know what that picture of Exhibit meant 5 minutes ago, and now you know. So you're part of this community now. But the thing is words work the exact same way, right? We just kind of have this social, acceptance or agreement that words should mean this certain thing, right? But they only get their meaning because we decide together. So even when words are spelled the same and they have dictionary definitions that are the same, they can mean different things in different places. Like, for example, the word man. If I think of the word man in context of a football game, some certain image pops into your head, right? Some muscular guy hurting somebody else, right? When I say the word man in the context of, I say universe and man, then you're thinking of, the human race as a whole, or us as compared to aliens or some other life form. So it's the same word, but in different times and places it takes on different meanings. It's just how we are agreeing to talk about it at that moment. So the cool thing about memes, the reason I like to study them, is they happen very quickly and they leave like a paper trail. You can see exactly when they happen. So this person uploaded this picture at this time. There's a record kept of it. So we don't know about the word man because it's been around for thousands of years. So we can't really trace exactly how it came to mean what it means. But we can with memes. And so it's really cool to see that process taking place. So now we can understand our own language that we speak much better by studying memes. And so that's what really excites me about them. And that's why I study them. And that's my presentation.